Hello everyone. So today I will discuss about one of the very good features of Java actually. It's a immutable class. So basically in this tutorial I'm going to explain like how we are going to create any immutable class, when we are going to use this one, and what is the benefit of it. Okay. So immutable object means when we are creating any object basically in Java, then after the initializations of this object, we are not able to change the state of this object actually. So for example, as we know, all the wrapper classes like string, integer and all those other wrapper classes are immutable. So once we are initiated these particular variables, after then the value of this particular string object actually it's never change. Okay. So as we know, the immutable object once we created, then we can't update the value of this one. So we need to create a new object every time change of for changing the of state, right? So immutable having the some kind of the benefit like uh, if we are going to use some kind of a caches mechanism, caching kind of thing, then for this purpose like there is value is not changed, right? It's for the new values it will be going to change, but for the existing one it's never changed. So that is in this case we are going to use, as we know, like immutable class is thread safety. So that's why we don't need to worry about the thread safe like for in the multi-thread env actually. So these are the like benefits of it. Now if we see like how we are going to create this particular object, so there is a few steps that we need to follow for creating the immutable class. Okay, so like first of all we need to declare class as a final. Okay, whatever the class will be declare, that will be final. So if we declare this class as a final, so that means we are not able to inherit this one, means we are not able to extend this one. So that will actually stop the extending, so that we are not able to change the state of it one. Whatever the fields we are defining into this particular class, for example, let's say one example for employee, then it's having a name, id and all those things. So we need to define those fields as a private. So field declaration should be as private. Okay, should be private. Okay, so that it will be not like accessible uh, like from the direct access basically not allowed for this one, right? Next, like we are not going to, like as you know, like if we are creating some fields, then we are going to create some getter and setter method. But for immutable class, it's not necessary, like we are not able to provide the setter, so that we are stopping for setting the value from the outside also. So setter not provide, we don't need to provide those setter method. Okay, next, like all the fields in immutable class should be as final. All the fields whoever will declare over here, okay, should be declared as final. Declare as final. Next, basically whatever the field values we need to initialize, either once we are getting initialized then on the means single time, or within the constructor we are going to initialize those variable. Okay, so in the constructor we need to initialize those variable. Okay, constructor, okay, in the constructor basically we are going to initialize those variable, and whenever we are going to return, like in the getter method basically we are returning those values. So from the getter basically we are going to using the cloning, so that we are, instead of the actual object, we are just returning the actual object reference. Okay, so these are the means step actually basically we need to follow, so that we can create the immutable object using this step we need to follow for creating the immutable object. So for demonstrating this one, I've created this class, and let's see like how it will how we are going to create the customization to our own classes. Okay, in the Java already use those things like wrapper classes, all the having the immutable. So how we are going to create the customizable immutable class, so I'm going to demonstrate over here. So as you know, in the constructor we are going to use the deep copy to initialize the object basically. Okay, so here let's say we are going to create some fields. So as I discussed over here, we need to declare those field as private, with that also final. So for example, id. Okay, what it is saying, the blank field id may not be unnecessary. Okay, so what we are going to do over here, we can also do this class as final. So either we can initialize over here like something like this one, or maybe in the constructor. Okay, so let's declare the fields final, then like string name. Let's keep these two fields for simplicity. Next, we are going to create one constructor. So how we are going to create the constructor? Like public, then we are going to provide this class name, and then we need to provide the parameter over here like int id comma string name. Okay, next this dot id equal to id. Next this dot name equal to name. Okay, so as you can see, the error is gone now, right? So now what we will do, we'll just only we need to declare the getter, not the setter. So we need to select getters. Okay, so it will generate the getter method, not the setter. Okay, so this is done now. Next, we'll going to create one main method. Okay, so from here basically what we'll do, we'll gonna create this immutable class. We are going to create the class object. Okay, obj is equal to new. Okay, here basically we are going to need to pass the parameter. Okay, so for example 1, then name is a kind of John. Okay, so that means we have initialized the value. So that means the final value how we are going to initialize, either here we are going to initialize or within the constructor. So once we are declare those values, then we are going to initialize over here. Now initialization is done now. Now suppose if we are going to print those values like id to object dot get id, then I'm going to name object dot get name. Okay, try to run this program. Let's see, it will return us the actual. Okay, so we are getting the output over here. Now instead of this, create one variable like integer I is equal to 1 and string name is equal to John. Okay, now pass this variable over here instead of hard-coded name. Now here basically try to change the value. I is equal to 2 and name is equal to updated value. Okay, so now we are updated over here. So as those values are final, so it will not allow us to update the value. So let's see what the value they are printing. It should print the 1 and John. As you can see, this is the previously and these are the like after the updation. So let's, for the simplicity, I'm like giving one here like okay, after updation. Okay, now run this one. Okay, so these are the before updations and these are the after. So that means here is no value change over here. So as those values are final, so these are actually never allow us to update the value. Now let's see like with this parameter. Now suppose if we are having the like one map or hash map, let's see. So is it allowing to do so using the final? So private final, then like hash map, maybe key value pair for the example taken as a string, immutable map. Okay, now here basically we are going to pass this parameter, because here we are going to initialize, right? In the constructor we are going to initialize this one. Now here this dot immutable map equal to like we are going to initialize over here equal to new hash map. Okay, so we have initialized over here. Now we can put some value here. Okay, so as this is a final value, so we have initialized over here. Now we need to pass this parameter from here also. So let's create another map from over here. Okay, so that we need to pass equal to new hash map. Okay, now in this map dot put some values. First parameter, or maybe employee ID 1 and the test immutable. Okay, now we need to pass this parameter so that it will set the over here. Now if we are going to print this value, okay, so how we are going to print the value from the map? Here sys out, then like map value. Okay, here object dot get okay, okay, we need to provide one getter for this one. That's why we are not able to access. Select getters, generate. Okay, so getter is generated for getting the values. Get immutable map. Let's see what is it, what it will print the data. It's empty. Okay, okay, so I have created over here as a new, so that's why I'm getting the output as empty. So just need to initialize this one. Okay, so that will get the data. Let's run again. Okay, we are getting this one for one and then test. Now like as it is immutable, so it should not, if we allow, but it should not be modified, right? So next we'll try to add some values over here. How we are going to add this one? Here basically after the updation here, so let's add this 2. Now let's run. Okay, okay, we need to print this one over here. Okay, let's rerun it again. Okay, you can see we are able to modify the map data. That means it's break the immutability. So how should we stop this one? So for that basically there's a concept of the deep copy. So deep copy basically we need to do for assigning the values over here, we need to do the deep copy. So how we are going to do this one? So like we need to create another map. Let's create this map, string test map equal to new hash map. Okay, next we are going to like iterate this map dot key set dot iterator. Okay, so it will be a iterator of string. Okay, it will be iterator and it will be a iterator of string. Next basically we need to use one while loop with this iteration, and then iterator dot next has next. So after that we are going to, in this basically map we are going to dot put key and value. So how we are going to key and value? From here basically dot get key, this is the key, and this is the get value. This map dot get based on the key we can get. So we need to like keep this one as a string key equal to this. Okay, now this key and this one. Okay, so it will copy the value. So using the iteration we can do, there are other approach also, that also we can, like we can also using the other approaches also we can set the value over here. So that means we are doing the here deep copy here. So once actually basically this is done, then we are going to like set this value like this dot, not this one, is equal to test map. Okay, so basically what we are doing over here, we are like created another map and then doing the iteration and set the value in this new map, and then finally we are setting the data into this map. So that means we are doing the deep copy over here. Now while we are like in the gate returning from over here, so we are going to use the, so we have used the clone over here like in the getter method, or even clone is also not required, we can do using clone or not clone. So now let's run this one. Okay, so here you can see the map value, this is the before updation, this is the after updation. So as you can see over here, whenever you are going to initialize this one, then you are putting this one value. So after the initializations we are we are display the data over here. Next we have put this value over here, okay, in this map. But as it is immutable, so it should not allow, but before it was allowing. Now you can see the update, means after updation the value is same as this previous. So why it is not taking? Because previously we are not using the deep copy of this map. Okay, so that's why it's what allowing us to put the data inside of this map even after initializations also. So that was break the functionalities of the immutability. But now as we are using the deep copy in the constructor for initializing of this map, So that's why it's not allow us the like update the value of the map. Once it is initialized over here, then only it's fine, but else it is not allowing us to update the data. So for map or maybe for list also use the deep copy. So this is basically overall concept of the immutable class. So how we are going to create the immutable class and one step basically we need to follow for creating the immutable class. So that's all about this immutable class. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.